basics of character creation. And I think the two most important things of your first two characters are balancing out their skills so that you have a lockpick, an explosive, first aid you may or may not want, but just making sure you have a range of general and exploration skills that will help you in the early game. And then the other thing is to make sure you pick weapon skills that match the weapons that you start with or that you plan to use in the beginning. You always have a chance to add skills later in the game as you level up. So if you're tired of being a heavy weapon user, for instance, and you want to switch to a shotgun, then you can start putting in small arm points. So you have the option to change. You're not stuck with this. This is just your early game loadout, and then the harder choices to make are as you level up along the way, what you want to invest the attribute point and the additional skill points in each level. So that does become a little bit of a challenge, and I do recommend saving a game, doing a quick save or a manual save before you allocate your points if you're ever unsure. That way you can play it out a little bit, and if you don't like it or you wish you had picked something different, just reload the save file and pick it again. So you will find in Wasteland, especially on Supreme Jerk mode, save files are your friends. Wasteland is quite a difficult game. Some of it comes down to rolls. So you saw very small increments in hit chances here. You may have a combat sequence where you miss many shots and then you end up dying because they don't miss their shots. So you want to reload that game, and then the next playthrough you might hit all your shots and they die right away. So it all comes down to those small little percentage points, and definitely leverage your save files. So we covered all the basics of these first two characters. Pretty soon after the tutorial, you will have an option to add 2 more party members. And one of the options you get is to create 2 more people. Or at least 1 more if you want to pick a canned person, you can do that. So these same things apply, except now you'll have a bigger pool of people. So what I tend to do with the second group of 2 that I get to make is specialize them. So these are more of the generalists in my group. I have someone that's going to, the heavy machine gun, if you have not tried it, can spray bullets, it can hit multiple targets, and if it does kill one target, it will still shoot through if there's someone behind it. It just uses the ammunition you tell it to use. Very helpful early game item. He's also going to be higher in constitution, so hopefully can take a little bit more of the beating. And then the mime is there to help with first aid, move around with the faster SMG and take multiple shots. So the plan for this approach is my heavy gunner just kind of stays in one place or moves very little to damage a number of people at once. The mime is sitting in ambush in case they come at me, and then goes after the rest of them and finishes off the people that the freak has weakened. And I found that works pretty good. And then what I do is I add a specialist into my party, so by the time I have 4 custom characters, I will have a low combat but high skilled mechanic / healer that's going to do the rest of my first aid. I think first aid is one of the few that it's not a bad thing to have multiple in your group, because you're often going to be healing in combat and it uses action points to heal. So you can't run your medic all around to everybody in your group depending on how far away they are. So it's usually helpful to have 1 or 2 people in your group that have first aid that can administer first aid or revive someone and then heal them with a little bit better effect. So that's a good overlap skill. So I will have a medic / mechanic to also repair my equipment, and then I specialize in a weapon. So in this case, I've been tending to lean towards a sniper. I really want to get that sniper rifle up, but I could also easily do someone that's just really focused on assault rifles, or maybe someone who's focused on energy weapons or the explosive weapons. So that I tend to do 2 generalists in the very beginning and then add 2 specialists later on, and then the NPCs will fill it out as you get them, and you'll find the NPCs are also fairly specialized, like a revolver user or a charming person who doesn't do a lot of damage. So it's good to round out your team with your custom choices. So this is the party of the mime and the freak.